Hi, I'm Mark Hill, and welcome to Small Expressions, a place where children have a very powerful voice. And today's guest is the backbone of our studio. So sit back, relax, and let's start our show. Today's topic is our children's future safe? So let's meet some of the people on the show today. Hello, and what is your name?
Alayla Shay Collins.
All right. How old are you?
8.
What grade are you in?
3rd grade.
What's the name of your school?
What's it, elementary?
So tell everybody in the audience today, what is it you want to be when you grow up?
A psychologist.
Psychologist. All right. All right. And what is your name?
Madison.
Madison. All right. How old are you?
9.
9. And what grade are you in?
I'm in 4th grade.
4th grade. What's the name of your school?
What's it, elementary?
All right. So tell everybody out there in TV land, what is it you want to be when you grow up?
An animal scientist.
All right. Animal scientist. We hear that, everybody out there? All right. And you are?
Michaela.
Michaela. And how old are you?
12.
12. And what grade are you in?
6th grade.
And what's the name of your school?
Cameron College Prep.
So tell everybody out there in TV land, what is it you want to be when you grow up?
A science teacher.
A science teacher. All right. All right. So today's topic is our children's future safe? It's very debatable with the changing times we have going on. And I'm going to talk to some people, get their viewpoints on it. And your name is?
Wanda Shelton.
All right, Miss Wanda. So what is it that you do?
I'm a cashier at Southern Hills Hospital.
All right, all right. So tell me, in your own words, do you think our children's future is safe?
I don't, like I said, teachers are having to do too many things other than teach, right now because I think it's because we have so many different nationalities, and it's kind of hard to teach the American kids in with all these different nationalities because you have to have someone that can be a voice for them as well.
Do you think that it's too much on the teachers these days to teach is more or less glorified babysitting than old style teaching?
Yes, it's hard. How are you going to teach and you've got disruptive, children? You're taking away from the ones that want to learn, and when you got one bad, see, it's just, the good ones are going to stop, and see what the bad one's going to do anyway, But, I think it's bad. It's the teachers are glorified babysitters,
Right. So let me ask you this. Do you think we as Americans, do we invest enough into our children's future?
Well, no, because the politicians have taken that away. They for other agendas. They've taken so much from education. You're missing activities. The kids don't get out as much as they, used to get an hour for physical education, where they get 20 minutes now. It's taken away from a lot of things that the kids were able to do at first.
All right. Let's get another viewpoint over here. And your name is?
Mary Mangum.
And what is it that you do, Miss Mary?
I'm a stay-at-home mother.
All right. So we're talking about, is our children's future safe? And I'd like to hear your viewpoint on that.
I don't believe it is. I believe our children are being deprived of things that were available to us when we were younger that have been taken away from them now.
And things like what?
Physical activities before and after school. There are no more after-school football games or things like that. There's the elementary school that my child attends. There's nothing for her to do outside of the classroom.
I heard something about an activity they was talking about getting rid of for a while. I know when I was coming up, we had dodgeball. Everybody remembers dodgeball? I heard something about they was taking away dodgeball because it was a way for bullies to continue bullying children. And do you think that is a good thing to do, to take away a sport activity like that we all enjoyed?
No, it's not fair to the kids. The children these days are being raised on the fact that instant gratification is the best. You have to work for things in life or you're not going to get them.
That's correct. I totally agree. So I'm going to ask another person over here, and your name is?
Sandra Britton.
And Miss Sandy, what is it that you do?
I'm a grant manager assistant for Metro Schools.
All right, and we're talking about, is our children's future safe, and how do you feel about that?
Well, it depends on what do you mean by safe, because I look at safe in so many different areas. So if you're talking about education-wise, it could be. It depends. You know, you have to get parental involvement, and then it depends on financially. If you look at technology-wise, nothing's safe. You know, technology is replacing people. Educational-wise, it's iffy. It really is. We just have to. We're living in a crazy time right now, and so we have to educate our kids to the craziness. You know, you really do. Nothing's safe. Nothing's certain, or nothing's ever safe.
Right. I have a question for the people sitting on this panel today. In lieu of the recent shooting in the naval base, and previous to that, we had, some school shootings. What measures do you think we as parents and as citizens of America can do to alleviate that?
Well, I think Witsit now has, you can't come in unless someone from the inside lets you in. It's not like you can just walk in to most schools nowadays, where you used to have the open door policy. That's out. Most schools now have where you have to be let in into these places, so that's a plus for the school systems. But as far as they're talking about armed guards, yeah, you could use that, somebody to monitor, yeah, and then that way the person knows that, well, okay, they got armed guards there, I'm not going to go there, so if they knew, just knowing that, that's a deterrent.
Right, and how do you feel about that, Ms. Mary?
I agree with Ms. Shelton. I think that if we put some of our disabled veterans to work at schools, I really believe that would help our children. A, it's going to give them a role model to look up to. B, it's going to give them a sense of safety in their classroom. It's going to give them the gifts that it's going to give them the gifts that the military has taught the officer to teach the children. It gives them a new role model in life.
And how do you feel about that?
Well, not everything is outside. We do have things that happen that is from the inside. So again, that goes back to where we have to educate our kids. And we have to teach them, just because if you know something is going on wrong, it doesn't make you a snitch. Protect yourself, do the right thing, and not worry about whether you're going to be called a snitch or something like that. But we have to, education is the key. You have to educate them to what's going on, because it's not always an outside job. Things happen to people that work inside. So, you have to just educate your kids to the craziness.
So I'm going to ask some of my helpers here on the show, what are some of the things you would like to see happen in your schools?
I would like to see people walking in the halls and not be rushing to their classrooms. And I would like to be seeing people not being bullied.
All right. And how about you, Madison?
I would say everybody that had free food in every schools, because everybody wants to have free food.
I like that.
I would like to see more clubs in my school, because we only have creative writing, and now we have a track and field club, so I'd like to see more clubs being opened.
All right. So we got some viewpoints from our young participants of this show. I'm going to keep it rolling here. Exactly.
Give them something to do, and that will alleviate a lot of idle time.
Exactly. Here's another thing I was thinking about. Do you think that the old ways that a lot of us adults, how we were raised, do you think that need to be re-implemented with discipline, with the parents being more active in the child's life? Because it seems to me, a generation removed, we had no choice but to do. So how do you feel about that?
You have a lot of latchkey kids now. Children, they get out of school, they're going home by themselves. You know, there's not an adult there with them sometimes when they get home. So they're on their own. You know, so out of mind, out of time. You know, that creates for trouble. You know, so you have to look out for the ones that are, you know, loners pretty much, that don't have anybody to go home to or anything like that, you know.
Right. How do you feel about that?
I think corporal punishment should be brought back. I believe if these children knew that there were consequences for the problems they were creating, those problems would not have been created.
I want to also ask this: at what age do we start holding our children accountable? You know, I know we raise them to be an adult. That's the goal of being a parent. But at what age do we start holding our children responsible for their own actions? Let's start from here.
Each child is differently. You have to go by your child. Nobody knows your child like you do. If you can't trust your child, then they're not mentally ready to be that responsible yet. You have to go by your child. Both of mine, they are responsible enough. They are held accountable for what they're supposed to do. They know that school is their paycheck. Their daddy goes to work, he earns a paycheck. Your grades are your paycheck in my home. I don't play. The school comes first.
Right. I understand that. That was the case. Boy, I would have been broke a long time ago. And how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm with that. Well, Miss Mangum said they'll be held accountable once, you know, children know what they have to do. There's not a day that they don't have. My grandson, I did, you know, they come in, I did my homework already. Well, I want to see, well, we left that at school. Oh, no, you have to bring that home because we have to see that you did that. And we have to sign now. You have to sign something every night and send it back, you know, because they have a record, you know, of what they've done for the day. And they send that home. You have to sign that. You know what they did for the day because they've sent that to you home. So, yeah, okay.
So I want to go a little bit further with that. Ask some of these kids here. Everybody understand the importance of school. Why is it important to be in school?
So you can get an education and be something in life.
Same as Michaela. I think everybody should go to school because they can learn more. And when they ask you the same question in college, you already know the answer, and you get into you get an education to get a job.
All right. We see these kids are already on the game. I mean, relatively speaking, living in a day and age, you have to be educated. You know, everybody can go to college or you can go to trade school, but in result, you have to be educated to make it in this world. So, let me look at some of this painting over here that's going on. We got a couple of Van Goghs and some Picassos going on up in here. And what are we making today?
I'm just doing lines, trying to mix colors up, and doing abstract.
So does anybody want to be an artist? I mean, I heard, you know, artists are really cool people. Okay, all right. That's pretty stuff up in here. Somebody needs to go to art school. Oh, yeah. Oh, you did that?
I did that. That's Angel and Spots.
All right.
And they both say blah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask another question here. Do you think that the government itself is doing enough to bolster the education system here in America? Because when you look at America as a whole compared to the other countries in the world, I mean, I feel like we're being left behind. So do you think that the government, president, whoever, they're doing enough to make our education system stronger?
Well, as much leeway as the president has, he's trying, you know, but you can only work with what is given, you know. And I think here in Tennessee, they've taken some money away here. They could put it back, you know, because it's a need. We have a need here in Tennessee for a little more money. Whitsett is a Title what is it, the Title I school, and they have it's just hard for them to get things going because there's so many different. Yeah, I think they have 90% of underprivileged kids there. So everything, and so it's kind of hard for those teachers to do their job there. It is. They've got a hard hand over there, at which they can do it.
And what do you think about that? Do you think that that our government should do a little bit more for our education system?
Yes, there's money out there to line the pockets of this guy and this guy and this guy. Why aren't we not putting that into our children? I firmly believe that if our teachers were paid more, that would give them incentive to teach more. If you teach more, you reach more. Teach these children. They need it. The adults don't need it. But they have to have the discipline to be able to do that. Children have to know that there is a consequence for every action they make.
I'm going to go on another limb right here. I see this a lot. We tend to push our athletes forward, give them all the resources, the time, and, everything to our benefit for them. But our academic children, our academically smart children, they just get pushed to the side. It's more like, oh, you got an A, that's nice. But, hey, you ran that touchdown, it's really cool. And I think that's a tad bit lopsided because not everybody's going to be an athlete. So what do you think would be a better solution to, I'm not downplaying an athlete, but what should we do to push up the academic children more so than athletes?
Well, they've got to raise them up. They got to raise them up as well. Those kids are not smart for nothing, and then they're sitting back and the athletes getting all the accolades and all that. They've got to raise them up as well,
And how do you feel about that?
I think that the children are not, there are children that are not striving to be the better student in class because they're worried about the football game this Friday, the Saturday night dance, the Sunday night club. There's things in life that are going to be more important when you're older than the club and that touchdown you scored in 6th grade. That's not going to mean anything. That's not going to go on a job application. They don't care if you scored a touchdown in 6th grade. They want your GPA. That's the most important.
Right, because it seems like popular culture nowadays is just they're promoting, in so many words, in my opinion, just stupidity. You look at a lot of the shows that are geared to young people, except for this one, a lot of shows geared to young people. It's just a lot of foolishness. I don't see anything that will spark the imagination, let alone intelligence. Do you think it should be some kind of request to Hollywood to, put more better shows on for children?
Yeah, the pictures that my little granddaughter watches, they don't have anything for her age. These are teenagers that are acting silly, and small children watch that, and they mock them. They do it themselves, So they're younger. There should be something for children smaller, because not all. She's watching that, every now and then, and it's stupid. And I catch her watching it, I cut it off. I don't like it.
We have to monitor our children's television shows, even some of the cartoons, because a day off work, I sat back and watched Cartoon Network, and I was actually kind of just like, I can't believe this,
You can actually feel yourself becoming dumber, for a lack of a better expression. But, seriously, there was a study done on the show SpongeBob, and they have literally said that will deplete your what you have learned. It will take it away. It will cause problems. So, yes, we shouldn't have to ask Hollywood to do that. Hollywood should take it upon themselves to say, hey, our children are suffering. Let's do something to help them.
Right. So let me ask some. My help is over here. What's your favorite cartoon show or television show?
Bugs the Money off of Cartoon Network on Looney Tunes.
Annoying Orange on Cartoon Network.
Teen Titans on Cartoon Network.
I actually like Teen Titans. I watched it a few times. It's kind of funny. And, of course, you can't put down Looney Tunes. We all grew up on Looney Tunes. But, yeah, some of that stuff like SpongeBob, I watched it one time. It's like eating a bag of sugar. Really, seriously, exactly, bouncing all over the walls here. But something has to be done with it because, like I said, we are Americans, and we're proud of our country, but it just seems like the powers that be are not guiding us in the right direction for our children because they have to take over when we're done. Exactly. And I hate to say it, I go around, younger people, and I'm almost getting to the point where I'm appalled by them myself. I'm not too much older, but still, I'm like, I'm kind of worried myself. So I think these forms that we're trying to do here, have a voice. Not only let them have their voice, but we speak as adults, as parents. It will help us out. So in lieu to what I asked earlier about the safety issue, bullying, that's always a big issue for school-age children. I think we all were, well, some of us, I know I was a little bit, but what can be done about the bullying situation?
Well, my granddaughter was bullied last year, and I went and talked to the teacher, and she pulled the little girl out in the class, and we talked, but she continued to do it, She got suspended once for biting her, and she was back when school started back after Christmas. So they have to have better consequences for those children that are bullying because it's not good. All the kids in the class are scared of that bully. They're scared of being bullied by that bully. So the teacher, that's what I said, the teacher don't have time to do what she has to do because she's dealing with a bully as well. So, and then you've got all the other bad ones in there that parents should be sitting there watching while the teacher is trying to do her job. Because if the teacher can't do what she's trying to do, then what's going to happen with the smart kids that are not getting what they're in there for,
And bullying is a very serious subject because there's been a lot of children these days, with the social media, seen some kids actually commit suicide on these social medias, because of bullying and things like that. So let me ask my helpers again. Have you ever been bullied, and if so, what did you do about it?
I would go to another teacher and tell them, and if that teacher won't help, I would either call home immediately or I would go to the principal and tell them about it.
And what would you do about bullying?
I would ignore them. Seriously, I would.
And that's what you need to do.
I would go to one teacher, and if they don't respond immediately, go to another teacher, and if they don't respond, keep going to other teachers until somebody responds.
Right. And if all else, fails, learn karate. So how do you feel about the bullying problem?
I think it's pretty extreme when children are committing suicide because another child has picked on them. We're back into that self gratification. Everybody has to be better than everybody else. We can't have somebody just be okay. It's not okay to be okay. You have to be better than that in today's society. I think we're teaching our children the wrong messages by telling them that. I tell my children all the time, you have to strive to be your best, but you also have to help your other pupils in your class. They have to be their best too. But if they can't do it, maybe you can help them. Maybe you can tutor them on the side or, bring them over. We have play dates at the house. We have sleepovers. We have different things go on where we do tutoring sessions at home. I help my kids and anybody else's that need help. There's got to be more parents out there that's going to be able to take a stand and stand up with their child and say, enough is enough. It's time to stop.
Right. I'm going to ask you, do you think that not only, you're chastising the child as bullying, but what about the parent of their child?
Well, coming from, due to me working in Metro School, I see it a lot. A lot of our children mimic what the parents does. And I can say that from experience. I've seen where parents come in, the kids and went home and told the parents something, and they come in instead of calling, talk to the teacher, they come in with an attitude. And so these kids watch what their parents do, and they mimic. So what they see at home is usually what they come to work and do. Not all cases, but most, come to school or work and do. Most cases, they mimic their parents. So we have to be careful what we do around our children. When my kids was in school, my children could come home and tell me the teacher did something. I'm not going to call that teacher and go off on the teacher. I'm going to call that teacher and talk to the teacher. What your child see you do, he's going to mimic. If he see me go off, then I'm giving him permission to do the same. So always remember, your children mimic what they see you do.
That is the God honest truth with that. I also want to throw in there, what classes do you think that should be added to our kids' curriculum that will help them be better students, that will help them learn not only just academically, but take them forward into their adult life?
Did they take away home economics from school? I don't know. Do they even still offer that home economics at school? Because we learned so many different things in home economics, and it gave you something to do. You didn't have time for all the bullying. I mean, I learned how to sew a skirt. I learned how to, they showed you how to some etiquette, and typing and all that different stuff. So there are things that, especially for the little girls, because my little granddaughter, I signed her up for a class on etiquette because these little girls are off the hook nowadays. Little girls are not acting like little girls anymore. And so her tone, the way she talks sometimes, I felt like she needs that. And so she's gonna do that,
This is true. It's so true. Like I said, with the home ec, I know I had it when I was coming up, and it was a great help. Also, stuff like writing skills, learning how to do an interview, things like that, because that's something that will carry forward, because we all eventually have to go in for an interview. And I don't know if they still teach that in school, but that's something that needs to. So any final thoughts here?
I think there should be more parental control over your children. Parents should be involved in what their kids are doing and saying.
And you?
Yeah, as well. We need more parental involvement at school. If your kid is a problem kid, then you should be required to stay there with that kid, to watch that kid, to make sure that they're on cue, so that it's supposed to.
Well, I like those final thoughts, and I totally agree. It needs to be more parental, all that with that. And so I would like to say that's our time. I'd like to thank our guests, our backbone. Thank you for all those who came and tuned in.